Nothing in this recording is intended as investment advice, and the people in this recording may hold positions in the companies they talk about. Do not make any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to Zak's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined by Richard Jeffery, who's Executive Chair, and by Emma Salthouse, who's CFO at ActiveOps. How are you today, everyone?
Good morning, Zak. Great to meet you, and thanks for taking us up.
Good morning. Thank you for your time.
Right, apart from stunning interim results, the first question is actually what the company does, because I think maybe not as many people who should know about your company actually do.
We're a SaaS software company. We sell primarily to big institutions that have got a big problem, and that problem is essentially one of managing their performance, if you like, their productivity. You've heard of probably brands like ServiceNow and Appian and Salesforce, those kind of process technologies, but they've also got their human capital systems like Workday and things that measure people's time. And ActiveOps sits at the intersection of that kind of ecosystem and enables those organizations to simply manage working capacity systematically better. Our software is used around the world. We operate in pretty globally because our customers are global institutions. And the big value we bring is sort of essentially that productivity management, but also, and you can imagine for institutions like that, consistency. We bring standardization to the way they actually manage their work, which means they can develop their staff, they've got consistent data. It's a really important feature, especially in the current world of sort of process transformation, process evolution. You've got to have really good data on what's actually going on and what was going to happen to exploit the latest AI tools and robotics and the like.
Right, so you seem to have, this year, or in the past year, you seem to have had a hockey stick revival in terms of your share price and all the sort of the major metrics, revenue, gross margin, etc., etc. How have you done it? And is this people finding you, or are you finding people in terms of your services?
Well, we've never actually missed a number. I mean, the sentiment of the market around software companies like ours, when we listed at 21 and then nosedived subsequently, but ActiveOps itself has never missed any of its guidances. So in some extent, the share price is an imperfect measure. But what you are seeing is essentially the consequence of work that we've been doing under the bonnet for quite a long time to really create a set of tools to the problem I was just discussing that is very relevant. I mean, organizations are really struggling. They're struggling with how to deploy AI. They're struggling with the fact they got less success from all those robotic process automation that they were promised, and so on and so on. So in a sense that the need and the awareness of customer base is the thing that's really moving our needle. But in conjunction with that, a really powerful tool set. I mean, 120%. Is our sort of aspiration for our net revenue retention. I mean, it's 116% just announced in the last half year. So for every dollar we have this year, we get 116 cents on the dollar next year. And that's a phenomenal underlying growth rate. And then the other stat is that we increased our number of new customers last year from 3 to 9. We've already had 5 in the first half. As another 3 comes in, that acquisition is also a compounding effect as we land and expand. And it's a combination of really powerful features and good sort of track record, great references, but also to the main point that I think the market awareness of the problem is also growing.
And so what will drive growth from, the current, obviously the latest results look great, but what will drive growth from now on?
We're really just scratching the surface. I mean, firstly, there's our existing footprint. We've introduced a series of product packages, essentially series, and each of those has got incremental revenue. And that's driven a lot of the increase in revenue in the last year, but that's only sort of 14-15% of our estate. So there's a huge amount of growth potential in our existing footprint. We think well over 130 million of addressable extra ARR if we didn't sell a single new customer. But if we are adding new customers, essentially the TAM is, well, we're directly addressing a target. We rifle shot our customer targets rather than broadcast, but we know there's at least 900 million of ARR accessible, if you like, within customers of the nature we already sell to who need our solution. So that's a big expansion. So you take 2 of those things. Then you're into channels. So one of the things we've primarily done historically is sell ourselves, or through ourselves. But more and more now, with that market appetite and awareness, we're opening up. I mentioned a few of the big ecosystem softwares, that there are third parties who depend on selling additional products to those ServiceNow customers and Salesforce customers, building partnerships with those so that we provide those kind of add-on services. And then obviously the third thing that's really driven our numbers this year was the acquisition of a competitor as well, which is sort of the inorganic growth, which again is pleasing in the context of our current results.
And in terms of your market cap is around 170 million, you're an international scalable tech business. Do you think that's reflected in your valuation?
Well, you can take comparatives to some West Coast sort of multiples and you end up sort of frustrated. But in a sense, I don't think that's good for the soul. ActiveOps, I'm personally very satisfied and pleased with being on the public markets. I think AIM serves us well. It gives us a number of sort of features for our management teams in terms of the ability to award stock options and the like, which I think are really useful. And it doesn't have to wait for some big PE event where they get shafted at the end. There's lots of things about our current situation which we have control in a way that, without being too paranoid about it, I don't think alternative measures might be. Whether we'll ever be the right place to move to the US, I think we're a long, long way from that. And personally, I enjoy being a notable tech in the UK, on the UK stock exchange that's driving enterprise revenues back towards the UK from overseas.
Richard Jeffery and Emma Salthouse from ActiveOps, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.